run by fools, when you see that they don't even want to stop, we're paying, think of this, we're fighting Russia, we're watching a Holocaust, we're watching something that I've never seen before, the way that they're going to go in there blowing up buildings with children, with women, with professionals, with people. Think of just people. They're blowing up indiscriminately. They're just shooting massive missiles and rockets into these buildings, and everybody's dying. The numbers are far worse than what you're seeing on television. I don't know. They're keeping them down.
Yeah.
When you see buildings being blown up and then they say one person died, give me a break. Many people are dying, and we're allowing this to happen. It would have never happened. It should have never happened. Putin never would have done it with me. I can tell you that. If you remember, I was the one that got the anti-tank missiles into Ukraine. Obama gave blankets. You remember when I first came in, they said Obama gave nothing. He gave blankets. If they didn't have those anti-tank missiles, they wouldn't have any chance. They would have been wiped out on day one. It's very bad now, obviously, but, it's very hard. There's such a difference in size and magnitude. This should have never happened. It would have never happened. It played right into their hands. Biden said such weak statements at the beginning that Putin said, oh, wow, this is my time to go. He said, we will never fight them. We will never do. Whether you're going to fight them or not, you don't go out and say that publicly. You'll never fight them. He said, we'll never fight them. We'll only sanction them. When Putin heard that, he said sanctions. Now, Putin's end game, we'll have to see, because Ukraine's put up a good fight. It's been much tougher on Putin than he thought. I think he felt he was going to just roll in, but they put up a good fight. By the way, using the anti-tank missiles that I got them, that were given by me, the Trump administration, Biden gave them very little, and Obama gave them nothing except blankets. You know that story. I mean, it's a well-known story, seldom written about. But Ukraine's put up a very, very good fight, far better than most people thought possible. But now it looks like you're in big trouble, big trouble.
First off, Trump, of course, uses this opportunity to fillet himself, claiming that Putin would have never invaded had Trump been in office. And he's right, but that's only because Putin didn't need to invade any countries while Trump was president. Trump did all of Putin's bidding anyway. Putin didn't have to push back against any NATO encroachment because Trump was undermining NATO for him. Trump attacked our allies relentlessly while deferring endlessly to Vladimir Putin. He deferred to him in Helsinki when he said that he had no reason to doubt Putin over our own intelligence agencies. He deferred to him when Putin claimed that it was actually Ukraine, not Russia, that did the election hacking. So to point to the fact that Putin never invaded any territory while Trump was president isn't evidence that Trump made Putin weaker. It was the opposite. Putin had the support of the world's biggest superpower that was doing precisely Russia's bidding by weakening NATO. In other words, the fact that Putin is invading Ukraine now isn't a sign of strength, it's a sign of weakness. It is proof that he has no other choice. He's no longer got any useful idiots carrying water for him, and so his only option left was a desperate show of force. But even more absurdly, Trump goes on to praise himself for getting anti-tank missiles into Ukraine. What he conveniently leaves out is that he used them to extort President Zelensky for dirt on Joe Biden. The guy literally got himself impeached for the way he dangled javelins above Zelensky's head to extract concessions from him while Zelensky was contending with Russian aggression. In other words, Trump put Ukraine in a worse position in service of his own bullshit stolen election claims, and now he's trying to rewrite history and make himself out to be the hero of the story. Trump was never looking out for Ukraine, he was exploiting Ukraine in service of himself. At the same time, Trump repeats this claim that all Obama did was give Ukraine blankets. And I know that Trump's repeated this lie so many times that I legitimately think he's convinced himself that it's true, but it's not. In reality, the Obama administration provided more than $100 million in security assistance, including 230 Humvees, along with medical equipment, night vision gear, and counter-artillery radar. And granted, while these supplies weren't lethal aid, it's still not blankets. Of course, Trump never let reality get in the way of what he said before, so why start now? But probably most telling is Trump calling Biden weak, which really does give the whole game away. Because in the last few days, Trump's done nothing but praise the Kremlin, calling Putin smart and savvy and genius, while denigrating our own government. He is so desperate to throw America under the bus because he wants to be better positioned to run for president himself that the guy can't stop coming out and praising a warmongering tyrant who's in the middle of slaughtering civilians. There is quite literally nothing Biden could do that would be acceptable to Donald Trump because Trump isn't coming at this from a place of good faith. He's coming at it the way he always comes at things, looking to help himself personally. And that's made even more absurd given the fact that while Trump calls Biden weak, Biden's actually presided over the strongest, most unified response the world has ever had to an invasion. NATO is more unified than ever. The world's democracies have been swift and decisive in removing Russia from the international banking system, in imposing sanctions, in going after oligarchs and elites, in stopping trade. That is the direct result of leadership in the White House that expressly isn't concerned with kowtowing to Vladimir Putin. Thank God Trump wasn't in the White House during this conflict, because I can guarantee you that the world's biggest superpower wouldn't be leading a united NATO, it would be coddling Putin. We'd be hearing about love letters and deferring to Kremlin talking points over US intelligence. The world's response to Russia is in large part due to Biden's strength right this second. The fact is that we have an apples-to-apples comparison of how these two US presidents operated in the face of Russian aggression. One president saw it as an opportunity to help himself, to extort a foreign president while he was at his most vulnerable because he was looking to undermine a free and fair election right here at home. The other president helped unite the entire world against that same brand of autocracy. Trump may try and rewrite history, but we have no intention of forgetting anytime soon. To see more videos like this, click the subscribe button right here on this screen. And if you want to support my work, subscribe to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. I cover the most important stories each week, and my guest is always one of the top political figures, including Vice President Kamala Harris, Jen Psaki, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Nancy Pelosi, Katie Porter, Cory Booker, and so many more. The podcast link is also right here on this screen, so give it a listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.